Golly gee, everyone. It's just I wish we could have some peace here. I have another message to another region, and one of them's more an ally of America, or I don't know, and one of them's more of an ally to probably Russia in this instance of no, we should all be trying to get along, but that's just factually true about it. I'm talking about there's a whole other mess with Iran and Saudi Arabia, and then there's a proxy war in Yemen, and then there's Hezbollah about it. There's Palestine and Israel, and I do have thoughts about it. And one has to be prudent with their speech, but at some point you should say what you think. I have no problem. You have two mighty countries in Iran and Saudi Arabia, but the leaders, I would tell either the Ayatollah of Iran or the Crown Prince of Saudi. I mean, last time I checked, you're not only leaders of countries, mighty countries, but you have a lot of responsibility, and you're supposed to be representing Islam and not having other countries get slogged down with things that are not peaceful because they're worried about Sunni or Shiite or something like that. That's just Protestant and Catholic all over again, but with your one. I think Muhammad was a prophet too. I believe Quran was, God told him to write it, he wrote it. Didn't even know how to read and write at first, but he did. I'm not Muslim though. I'm monotheist. Muhammad says, not many of these Christians with this monk stuff and all this other stuff going on in the 6th century AD, not a lot of them are going to get up. And as it is to this day, I agree with him. I say you people are slipping too, because it seems you're very legalistic. For instance, to take Iran. Listen, I respect your might, and I don't hate your country. I don't hate your way of life. And I certainly don't hate your people any more than your people seem to hate the people of America, which is not at all. They get that the government's a bunch of shankers, but not the people. And yeah, I say the same. I agree. But it just seems to me that built into your state, your culture, your Uncle Sam legends, right, is at the core what happened in the 70s with the Ayatollah coming into power because of the college kids and taking the hostages. Remember that? And listen, that was a long time ago. And yes, you did do that. You took on America. You did that. You celebrate that bit, but you shout death to America. And you shout death. I mean, at this point, it just seems like that's the wrong sentiment. And you shout death to Israel all the time, but yet, I can't help but notice, you should be, I say they got those so slippery slicks over there, the lot of them Muslim and Jewish alike, and even the Christian ones and the atheists too, they are going to have to go with Judah. So if you're going to yell death to Israel, why don't you yell peaceful death to Israel, peaceful death to Palestine, long live Judah or something, because these people are in trouble. I don't think God likes Palestine any better than Judah or, than Israel at this point. But especially this whole thing has gone on with all this death and destruction and dishonesty and apps and sexy time and rapes and killings and horrible things that no Muslim could ever actually say any more than the Christian, let alone the Jew. We're the monotheists no matter what. We've got our little triangle of stupidity, and no matter how much we try to. But Muslims and Christians at least are supposed to know you're supposed to shoot for the bottom of the heap. We want to come in last, surrender, right, and serve. And I'm the same. We're rivals about it, but I sure don't hate you or your faith. Not once. I just don't happen to be Muslim. I don't have to pray 5 times because I don't subscribe to that part of it. I'm quite Gentile about it and just do the Jesus stuff for that. But even Muhammad says you just have to be friends with God, let alone if you're friends with God and try to be friends with Jesus. Even you people are supposed to respect him. Pretty sure you're supposed to listen to the teachings, and you'll find many more of them in the Bible than you will the Quran, although you will get the crux of it right there in the Quran. Because duh. we can have fun disputes about, like, they can't both be true with whether he's begotten or not. You believe that, I believe this, fine. You know, like, who's to say why God pins stuff up against whatever, but, like, whatever it is. See, those people, I just had an inch scratch my shoulder. They'll tell you to pay more attention to that, right? When I'm saying, no, don't. I just had an itch. But we have to pool together. And in Saudi Arabia, same thing. Last time I checked, you've got not only like Mecca, but also Medina right there, right? I mean, that's like big time stuff, a lot of responsibility on your end. And it seems like you're trying, I think you're trying to do right, the same as Iran. I think, I hope the golf thing goes well. Why don't you double the amount of games, right? You see what I'm saying? If you double the amount of games, that doubles the amount of total prize money. If you can. If not, just, hey, you're going to get half for now. The other half goes right to, like, Peace in Yemen Fund. I would do that for the first year season of it. You can take up a second cause. Hopefully that's an acute one, right? And then come season 2, you can have another cause. But if you double the amount of matches, right, and prize money, well, no matter what, it's, you'll be able to raise it somehow. And then it can go, you understand, like, there's a war right there. And I understand, like, everybody wants peace, but yet, like, I'm glad for themselves. They called ceasefire, like, back in April or whatever it was for a little while. I keep praying about the situation. It seems unfortunate to me. They have so much. I mean, Sheba, it's that, right? Like, it's a cool spot. And yet, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes Muslims hate, like, Torah and Bible and, like, that part of it. When that all is true and came before it, Muslim, you can't say there was no, like, temple there before there was like Dome of the Rock there. Of course there was. You're calling everything a liar that came before the 6th century AD. God sent Muhammad as another witness and to be like last major prophet. That's what I think anyway. Don't hate me if I agree with you or something. I just don't happen to be Muslim. But Muhammad hung out with Christians sometimes. They were part of the Ummah. They were. They were invited to mosque. I feel bad. I try to defend, Muslims at every turn in America because it seems they're very uneducated. And then, it's like, I don't know. I wish there were more ambassadors for your, end of monotheism, at least here, really. But I think we need peace. I think the same can be true said for Hezbollah and them. I think everybody's still raring to go with war stuff sometimes when no, we want peace at this point and repairing, feeding and things like that. And, I think every club has its thorns and app people and just people who were taught the wrong thing and happy to infiltrate in, especially to the main three mainstays there. But we're not going to solve anything overnight. But if we don't use good faith and just speak our minds and hearts to each other, especially, I imagine it'd be pretty easy rather than going back to the old quips. But remember when you guys did this, but then you guys, I think, did this, and Saudi Arabia and Iran both like to say we're the ones trying to do right here, but the other side. And listen, I'm sure you both have some points. You're both infallible, but you're both trying to how can you not find peace with one another? Or take Ukraine and Russia. They're like brethren and they can't. Iran, you seem to have Putin's ear a little bit. If there's anything you can do, you should be pushing for peace because, Allah will kill you if you don't. Same as me if I didn't, right? We all have same God. It's our guy. The Mideast one, yeah. From the Holy Land. That's what I believe anyway. Well, we have to serve the people who don't, not just ourselves, savvy. You don't even, we need let alone trying to put out monotheist on monotheist like violence or any of the violence. So let's just pray about it, and whatever way you do, I'll do the same. God bless everybody, and that's about it. God is great. That's about all I know about it. All right, and we are not, myself very much included. We are all sinners, amongst whom I am chief. That's a faithful saying. But despite this, I'm thrilled that God loves us despite it. Have a good night, and that's my thoughts. Please, we need some peace. In Yemen, you don't need anyone's permission to just, have peace with yourselves. Okay? Who amalgamated who there? All right? A long, long time ago, they realized it was this one God, and not the God of this and the God of that, in that particular place. And when the Queen of Sheba made her way to the place where currently sits that Dome of the Rock, right? And checked out with Solomon and all that, and his wisdom, she understood. Wow, you're right. Anywho, have a good night, everybody. That's what I believe on that one. It's our guy. It's the one God. Hallelujah. All right? That's about all I know about it. Have a good night.